I'm Saturday hauling for you guys today. Brands have been releasing spring stuff already. I'm like, a little too soon, a little too soon. I'll go ahead and start off with some of the new Fenty Beauty products that launched. I purchased these off of the Sephora website, and I did go ahead and pick up both of the brushes because I really like the feel of the Fenty brushes. I think that they're really nicely made synthetics, and they have a nice weight to them, and I think the structure of where the ferrule kind of meets the handle is kind of unique. So I really like the Fenty brushes, and the new ones that came out are the 170 setting brush, which is a super soft synthetic, kind of an all-over powder brush. I feel like it's kind of a multi-purpose brush. You could use it for bronzer or blush too, because it does have a bit of a point to it if you wanted to. And then the other one that came out is the 180 concealer brush, and this has got a slant to the side of it, and it's really similar to the Sephora and Hakuhodo collaboration brush. This was their concealer brush, and I like to use this to put eye primer on my lids, and this was also my favorite concealer brush for a while when I was using brushes. I use a sponge more frequently now. There is a little bit of a difference, however. The Fenty 180 concealer brush is a little bit thicker if you turn it to the side. The shape of it is pretty much the same head on. The angle and the slope are the same, but the Fenty one is thicker. There's more bristles in there, so it actually kind of buffs out the concealer even better than the Hakuhodo one. So I really like this in terms of using a brush for concealer. This is a good concealer brush if you like to use brushes. I was debating on which shade of the powder to get, either the lightest like flesh tone color, but then I'm always intrigued by lavender tinted powders. I have quite a few of them, so I did go ahead and get the lavender one. There's 0.98 ounces of product in this guy, which is a ton. I really like the packaging of this. It has a nice weight to it, and it looks really pretty. It's a very unique packaging, I feel like, in terms of like a loose powder goes. As unique as you can get with a loose powder, right? But it's really, really pretty. It just looks pretty sitting out. The powder itself is really finely milled. It does have a fragrance to it. For ingredients, it has talc, silica, dimethicone, squalene, caproyl glycol, tocopherol acetate, which is a vitamin E, and then it does have that perfume in there. But squalene is also an ingredient that's kind of skin nourishing, if you will, so I do like that there's vitamin E and squalene in here. I got it underneath my eyes today, and I also used the Fenty concealer, which I'll show you which ones I have of those. I really like this powder. I've used it with several different concealers since I've gotten it, and I think that it provides a really nice set underneath the eyes, as well as slight brightening. So the two shades of concealer that I purchased are 110 and 140, which were the peach or pink, I can't remember, but the peachy or pink undertone versions of the concealer. 110 was the lightest with pink peach undertones, and then the next one with peach pink undertones was 140. I knew 110 was going to be too light, so that's why I went ahead and purchased the 140. I put a little bit too much of 110 underneath my eyes today. So that with that lavender powder is what's giving me that super bright under eye. But when I do the proper concoction of the two mixed together, I really like them. It is a little bit drier of a concealer, but it covers really, really well. And for me, it doesn't feel too heavy underneath the eyes. I do hydrate my whole eye area very well every day. And I feel like if you don't really moisturize your eye area and you have a drier eyes, this might look a little dry underneath the eyes for you guys. But it blended out really nice, and the coverage is super duper. There's 0.27 fluid ounces of product in each one of these as well, which is quite a bit. So this is 110 right here. And then this one is 140. And I do feel that each one of these, in terms of being like the pink peach undertone, could have a little bit more pink or peach in them. I have really strong pink undertones though, so that's probably why I like them like that. But there's 140 and there's 110. So let's kind of blend these sideways right here. There. And then if I kind of mix them a bit. Staying on the concealer train, I also purchased two of the new Makeup Forever Ultra HD concealers. Kind of the same situation where I knew that the one, or the 11 with the pink undertone, I can't remember if it says pink or peach, but it's not the warm or neutral. So I got number 11 and number 20, and this is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Light Capturing Self-Setting Concealer. I do feel like when I blended this out with the Fenty Beauty brush, and I noticed it kind of setting more when I blended it out with a brush than when I did with a beauty blender. I did kind of go a minute before I set this with a powder, and it was kind of migrating into my little lines. So for me, I didn't feel like it was self-setting just because it did move into those creases before I had set it. When I do set this, I think that it's really pretty. It's a thin consistency, but it covers really well and it's really comfortable underneath the eyes. And I feel like it blends out really well too. So I really like this concealer. And let me swatch the shades. You can kind of see them next to the Fenty. So here's number 11 right there. And again, I don't feel like that's a very pink or peach undertone coming from somebody with a very strong pink undertone. And then here is the shade 20 right here. So I'll blend these ones kind of sideways. It almost looks like in the viewfinder next to the Fenty, this almost looks like it has a warm undertone on my skin tone because it's so strongly pink. But and then I've been using them mixed together as well, these two concealers. But I really like the formulation of that one. This one's a little bit more moisturizing feeling than the Fenty one. And then if you want to talk about a really moisturizing concealer, I did finally go ahead and purchase the Fit Glow Beauty C2 shade. I had hauled this Shade Seed 1 quite some time ago. It's an all-natural kind of beauty brand. I get it off of, I purchased the C2 off of integritybotanicals.com. They were having a sale, but Beauty Heroes also sells it, and I'm a member of their subscription box, so I get a percentage off if I want to order something. But the C1 shade was very, very light, so I was always wishing to get the C2, so again, that I could mix them. So that's what I went ahead and did. And these are some very hydrating concealers, and they're a thicker consistency. After they're set, they don't move on me, but if you don't set them, I feel like they're going to migrate. Again, they're a thicker, heavier kind of a consistency, but they have some really nourishing ingredients in them. So let me swatch C1 right here, and then I'll swatch C2. And I've been using these two when I have been using them together. So you can see that the C2 shade is quite a bit darker than C1. And then we'll just go ahead, kind of do the same thing here. And then I just mix them together. If you're looking for a really full coverage and you have super dry under eyes, this would be probably a good one to try out because it does have so much hydration in it. And then if you didn't catch the name, it's Fit Glow Beauty right there. I had actually set all of those concealers with the Fenty powder, and I liked that lavender powder over all of those concealers. Today, for some reason, I just got a little heavy-handed with that lightest shade of Fenty with that lavender powder, so it's looking real bright. Another nice touch that I forgot to mention about the Fenty powder is there's a little slot that has a plastic cover on it with the kind of little Fenty that will go into the holes. Let me show you. I don't think I swatched the powder. Oh my gosh, Tara, you are slacking. Anyway, so let's open this up. Pretty rose gold lid, and there is your lavender powder. And then the sifter holes are shaped like FB, and then this little thing right here can plop down on there to cover the holes if you're traveling and didn't want powder to come out. I shook mine up real good today, so I got a surplus of powder on there. But I really like that's just a nice touch that they included that. However, a twisty sifter top would have been even better. This is the lavender powder. It is so silky smooth and soft. Very finely milled, but you can just see just the powder alone putting on my skin the brightness that it gave to that area of my hand. Next up, Marc Jacobs came out with a new eyeshadow palette, and it's number 800 Flamboyant, and it has this like leopard style packaging. It's one of his 7-pan palettes, and there are 2 mattes in here, which are these 2 shades on the end. I just thought this was kind of an interesting array of colors. It's almost like it almost looks like kind of a fall palette. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I've typically always gone along with Marc Jacobs eyeshadows. These ones in particular feel extra soft though, and kind of extra substantial. It wasn't a standalone for me because again, there are only 2 mattes, and I did bring in a matte brow bone, but the shades themselves are very, very pretty. So I was happy with that. So this is 800 Flamboyant, and again, these are the 2 mattes on the end, and then these ones are just some shimmers, but they feel so nice, and they went on the eyes really nice as well. I had like no fallout. Super pretty shades. Very smooth. think Marc is on to something. And then these 3 shades. Right there. So that is Marc Jacobs Flamboyant eyeshadow palette. And then a few of my favorite luxury brands are starting to come out with some of their spring stuff, and I couldn't resist, so I purchased a few things from Guerlain. This first one being the Guerlain Meteorites Highlighter Duo Holographic Powder, 0.31 ounces of product. This is what the compact looks like. It's super pretty. I was surprised that they called this a Meteorites powder and it doesn't have that violet smell to it. I thought that was really interesting because usually all of Guerlain's Meteorite products have the violet smell infused into it, which I personally really love. But this is what the highlighter looks like. Isn't that stunning? There is more of the pink than there is like the lavender in here. This is the highlighter that I have on the top of my cheeks today, and when I mix it together, the pink does pull it a little bit darker, where it kind of just goes with my skin tone. It doesn't provide a huge light lift on the top of my cheeks, but it kind of just looks like a softer highlight because it's not so bright when I mix it in with that pink. But it's a baked jelly powder, which is one of my favorite powder type of products. It just looks beautiful on the skin. So let's swatch the 2 shades. I personally would have liked it if they would have made the lavender half the bigger part and the pink half the smaller part, because you can see right there just how much more brightening and lifting that lavender is on my skin tone, where the pink kind of blends into it. Why is there Phoebe hairs? But it's a gorgeous powder nonetheless. And then let me go ahead and mix these 2 shades right there. And that's how I used it today too, was mixed. But isn't it so pretty? I just think this is stunning. From that same Guerlain collection, they launched some new Kiss Kiss lipsticks, and 2 of the shades, I was just like, those look so beautiful. There was a lavender and then a peachy shade. So I purchased 543 Peachy Star, which is what I have on my lips today, along with Charlotte Tilbury's Iconic Nude Lip Cheat. These are much more sheer than I thought they were going to be. I thought they'd have a little bit more opacity to them, so my natural lip color kind of shines through them and they show up a little bit darker. They're really shiny and glossy looking on the lips, which I do like, but I wish there was more opacity in terms of color, because again, they are a little bit more sheer. They kind of feel like a balm on. There are glitter particles in both of these, by the way, so if you don't like glitter, you're not going to like that. But this is 543 Peachy Star. And these do have a fragrance to them as well. I don't find it overbearing, and it doesn't taste, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's really pretty. But you can see that my natural lip color is coming through the lipstick quite a bit, and I would have liked it to be that lighter peachy color, and then the glitters shift to a pink, which is, it's pretty, but I was hoping for more opacity on these guys, especially with the lavender one, because the lavender one really makes my lips look a little bit darker, and I was hoping they'd make them look a little bit lighter, so it's kind of the reverse effect. So this one is 575 Lilac Moon, and then this has got star and moon embossing around it, which is really cute. And then here it is swatched, so you can see it's much more sheer than it kind of looks in the tube. And I was hoping again for that lighter, shiny kind of lavender, but, and then this is what the packaging on those guys look like, the Guerlain. Then I got suckered into one of the new Rouge Volupte Shine Oil in Sticks in the collector edition packaging. This is number 44, Nude Lavalier. And this packaging is just so cute. YSL Volupte packaging is gorgeous already, but with can you see the little hearts with the arrows through them on there? It's just super, super cute. And I do like these Volupte Shine in oils as well. They're very like moisturizing on the lips, and they're just an easy lip product to throw on. So again, this is number 44, and it looks darker in the tube than it actually goes on. You can see right there that it goes on much lighter. No matter how much I vacuum, I can't get rid of the animal hair. Or my own. Also from YSL, they came out with this Face Palette Collector Edition. It's the highlighting blush in Shimmer Rush. And it has got a really pretty like holographic cover on there. And there was a blush that came out in this style of packaging some years ago that was my favorite. I could not stop using that thing for anything, and I still really love that. And I was thinking that this was going to kind of be along those lines, but it's a little bit more light than that. So I really had to focus my brush on that center ring to get it to show up as a blush, and I don't feel like there's enough of the highlight powder to use as a highlighter on my skin tone. So it's going to kind of be a blush for me, and I have to again focus my brush on that center to get it to show up as a lighter pink on my skin. So it's pretty. It has a sheen to it, but you kind of have to work with it a little bit and layer it up for sure. The packaging is gorgeous though. And I'll go like this, and then I'll go like this. So you can see that it's pretty, that's a pretty pastel one, even on my skin tone. So I would layer up that one right there on my, like my cheeks to get it to show, or is it this one? To get it to show, but I was hoping for a little bit more pigmentation from this. 0.31 ounces in there. I haven't worn this just yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. It's the Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill Stellar in number 2, bouncy high pigment eye color. And originally I thought these were going to be a lot like the original Armani Eyes to Kill that come in the pot, but these are very different. Those were kind of potted powdered eyeshadows, the older version. These feel like a cream powder hybrid. So the one I got again is number 2. And these do not come with kind of a stopper. They almost remind me slightly of the Chanel Illusion D'Ombre, kind of along those lines. It's a taupey color with silver glitter in it, and if you push on it, it'll squish. So there's definitely a cream factor to it, but it kind of dries down to a powder. But isn't that pretty? It looks like Tom Ford's Platinum Cream eyeshadow, but with a more powdered finish to it. So that is the new Armani Eyes to Kill in number 2. And then lastly, I purchased the Venus XL 2 palette from Lime Crime. I do have the first one that they did in the XL version. I really get along nice with their shadows. The color scheme in this palette is stunning. It's like the perfect spring palette, but it's also just a stunning color scheme in general. It has got 18 eyeshadows and each shade is 0.05 ounces per shade, which is a pretty decent amount. I ordered this off of the Lime Crime website, and I just seen it on the Ulta website as well. But this color scheme is so pretty. It's unique, like just really, really stunning. This palette actually only has 4 matte eyeshadows in there. You've got In Bloom, Sage, Ripe, and then this one down here called Classical. The rest of them are shimmers and then these super foily shiny shades. The shade right here, Myth, is one of the most gorgeous colors. This palette is what I have on my eyes today, and that's that Myth shade, that shiny kind of light green that you're seeing. The only thing it doesn't have is a matte brow bone highlight, so I did bring in Wet n Wild's Brûlée eyeshadow for underneath the brow. But again, these colors are just so pretty. I'm slightly obsessed at the moment with it. Some of these really glittery shades, I had to kind of stab my brush in there to get it to pick up, but they go on the eye so pretty. I just think that the color scheme is so unique too. And again, this is the palette that I have on my eyes today. And these next ones, you can see that my finger swatching of that shade has kind of created some hard pan. So I'll go in with a brush and kind of, you know, jag it in there. But, oh, wait for this color, you guys. It's so beautiful. It's so pretty. And I have very, very little fallout with these shadows, and they blend out very, very nice for me. Next ones. Oh, I hope I have enough arm space to do this whole palette. Another one of my favorite colors is this mint green here. Oh gosh, it's beautiful. I love that mint green. Oh my gosh, I'm totally running out of space. And then these last two colors. Some of those really glittery shades, my finger swatching over the top is creating that hard pan because they do have a little bit of a creamy factor to them. So those are the last two shades, but what a color scheme. It's so pretty. So that is the Lime Crime Venus XL2 palette. And that is all for my haul today. I'm going to be filming my 2018 beauty favorites hopefully tomorrow or the next day, so I should have that up in a few days as well. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.